Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Sunday evening, February 2, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what did that be like in your year recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and the latest GFS supercomputer models that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go out to the next 168 hours, which stands for the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows that represents, as well as the greens that represents inches of rainfall. Alright, so let's see what's going to be taking place as we head into Monday. We do see some greens that represent some isolated shores on the northeastern side of the island in the morning. Then by the end of the day on Monday, we see that the rainfall has extended to section of central and western parishes as well. Into Tuesday, we see the northeastern parishes of Jamaica getting in on some isolated morning showers. Then during Tuesday afternoon, spilling into sections of central and western Jamaica once again. Wednesday, some isolated showers across eastern and northeastern parishes for sure. Wednesday afternoon, spilling into sections of central and western Jamaica once again. Thursday morning, rainfall across northeastern Jamaica, affecting sections of some southern and western parishes during the afternoon. Friday, some dots of greens represent some isolated shores on the north coast. Then we see that by afternoon the rainfall has shifted to sections of central and western parishes. And then we see that as we head into Saturday morning, some isolated shores on the north coast. Then by the end of the day, spilling into sections of central and western Jamaica once more. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Sunday, February 9. And we can already see the morning rainfall that should be plaguing northeastern parishes by that time. You can also see an abundance of moisture across eastern Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, some rainfall right here to the south of Hispaniola. Let us match what we just saw on the latest Euro model to the latest GFS. Let's see if we have agreement on both models. So we can see that as we head into Monday, clearly we have that rainfall across northeastern parishes. Then by the end of the day on Monday, the rainfall has shifted to sections of central and western parishes. On Tuesday morning now, we see some morning rainfall across sections of northeastern Jamaica for sure. Then sections of some southern parishes during Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday morning, northeastern parishes with that rainfall. Then Wednesday afternoon, southern and western parishes for sure. Thursday morning, northeastern Jamaica. Then Thursday afternoon, definitely southern and western parishes. Friday morning, what do we see? There's some dots of greens that represent isolated shores to the north of the island, affecting eastern Jamaica. Then by the end of the day on Friday, definitely some isolated rainfall across sections of some central and western parishes. Saturday, northeastern parishes once again, central and western parishes by the end of the day. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours, which is about Sunday, February 9, 2025 at 1 p.m. We do see some dots of greens across the north coast as well as the eastern edge of the island, and it is kind of in line with what the Euro was showing. The Euro was also showing some rainfall across eastern Honduras and Nicaragua, which is what we see here, especially right here to the south of Hispaniola. So we definitely have some agreement on the models. And in terms of the accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days from both the Euro and the GFS supercomputer models, we can see that from now all the way up until Sunday, February 9, the areas that should be picking up the most rainfall, as represented by the dark reds into purples, into pinks that represents anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4, maybe all the way up to 5 inches of rainfall, as you can see from the camera, right? That should be definitely affecting portion of the Yucatan, Belize, sections of Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, sections of Colombia, sections of southern Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, sections of Guadeloupe and Dominica, sections of the Dominican Republic, sections of eastern Puerto Rico, sections of eastern Cuba, sections of eastern or northeastern parishes in Jamaica. And we can clearly see that it's not only the GFS model right here that's showing this, but even the Euro right here showing the same areas getting the most rainfall, especially across Central America and portions of Northern South America. So those areas could definitely get on some isolated flash flooding for sure. So we hope that the people who reside in those areas are taking necessary precautions so that they're not that drastically affected by what's to come over the next 7 days. But let us switch gears and talk about what's expected over the next 7 days across Jamaica. Clearly we see that the most rainfall should be plaguing northeastern Jamaica, as we can see from the key on the bottom. All of the blues into the greens, into the yellows and the oranges. That represents the most rainfall, especially across sections of Portland, where we should be getting all the way up to 71 millimeters of rainfall, according to this latest Euro accumulated precipitation forecast. The GFS a bit more reserved. Remember, yesterday it was showing even more than the Euro. Now it has definitely corrected itself, showing up to at least 53 millimeters of rainfall across Portland. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, we clearly see that the most rainfall over the next 7 days should be plaguing northeastern Jamaica, anywhere from St. Anne eastward, St. Mary, Portland, spilling into sections of Kingston, St. Andrew and St. Thomas for sure. And whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted on our other social media platforms. Alright, taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see a ridge of high pressure right here to the north of the Cabo Verde Islands, and we know it's responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We see a frontal system right here, stretching from the northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down into portions of Florida, and to the southeast of that frontal system we have some broken orange lines right here associated with the trough situated to the north of the eastern Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of these entities. First of all, we can see the low level flow of the clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. We can also see the clouds associated with that frontal system extending into portions of Florida and the Gulf of Mexico, and to the south of it we see that trough right here situated to the north of the eastern Caribbean. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean today later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Sunday, February 2, 2025. If you remember yesterday's video, we highlighted that sections of some southern and western parishes would have received some afternoon rainfall on Sunday. And we know southern parishes, we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew and St. Thomas. Well, western parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? At around 3:25 p.m, the visible satellite images were posted not only here on our Twitter page of Weather Jamaica, but they were also posted on our Instagram page of weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page of Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page of Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So if you look closely on this visible satellite imagery, you can definitely make out the clouds building across sections of some southern and western parishes, definitely across sections of eastern Westmoreland, sections of St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, and sections of northwestern St. Catherine might have gotten in on the overcast skies as well as some isolated shores. And we can also see some clouds coming in fast from the north towards the north coast, Portland, St. Mary. Also see some clouds coming in quickly from the east to bring overcast skies, if not some isolated shores, to sections of St. Thomas. And some of these clouds from the east definitely brought with them some windy conditions. If you live in the east, you definitely know what I'm referring to. Some of this activity might have even spilled into sections of Kingston and St. Andrew. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before all was said and done with the day, before we lost the sunlight, you can definitely see that some of these clouds definitely came ashore across sections of St. Thomas, bringing some amount of overcast skies, Even at some isolated shores, not only to St. Thomas but even to Portland, section of St. Mary, section of St. Andrew as well. And if we take a look at the infrared close-up satellite imagery, you can see that there's not much in the way of, let's say, cumulonimbus cloud cover. But look at this, you can definitely make out that high cirrus cloud. Look at the blues into the greens pushing from west to east. Some high cirrus clouds definitely pushing off towards the east, while the low level clouds with the overcast skies and the rainfall definitely pushing from east to west. We can make out some of that right here across the southeast, some of that right here across the southwestern edge of the island, and we can see the upper level clouds even better right here on the infrared rainbow satellite imagery. Look at all of these high cirrus clouds being steered off all the way from the Yucatan Peninsula, pushing towards the east across Jamaica right here. But don't worry, there's no rainfall within all of those clouds, just some high cirrus clouds. Nothing in the way of rainfall at all at this point. And if we take a look here at See Jamaica's YouTube channel, showing crossroads at around 2:34 p.m, we can see that it was definitely sunny for the most part. Not much in the way of bad weather, no cloud cover, no rainfall. People walking about, going about their business. People in their vehicles going about their business. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, you can visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure. And they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at some of the comments, well, at least one comment here from some of our followers. Let's see what took place. Okay, so we have a comment right here that came from Rush_Shotty_1 stating breezy in Kingston. This was posted an hour ago just to confirm that some of these clouds that were pushing in from the east definitely brought with them the windy conditions. We also have a Decade stating rainy and overcast, the way I like it these times. And we even have on our Facebook page Lance Brown stating very dark clouds in Spring Village. So we definitely thank you all for all of the comments confirming what the weather was like in your area. But let us see what the latest still image from the Weather Nerds website is showing. Just as we stated, we definitely have some milky white shades that represent some cloud cover across the east and the southeast sections of southern Manchester into southwestern St. Elizabeth right there. But do we actually have rainfall within these clouds? Unfortunately, we're not sure, because the Cuban Doppler radar still glitched out from January 29 into January 30. Hopefully it gets sorted out quickly. Either way, hopefully the Jamaican Doppler radar gets sorted out quickly. But let us see what the Guantanamo Bay Cuban Naval Radar imagery is showing. Alright, so we have to be depending on this one, and we can see that it is definitely showing some amount of moisture extending all the way from the western peninsula of Haiti into portions of eastern Jamaica. We see sections of Portland getting in some of the moderate to some slightly heavy rainfall. Some of this activity affecting sections of St. Thomas as well. So it definitely coincides with what we're seeing here with the milky whitish shades across eastern Jamaica. Definitely some rainfall embedded within all of that. If we also take a look at the Cayman radar, not seeing much activity across southern Cuba, western Jamaica, or the Cayman Islands. Nothing taking place at this time. But if we take a look here at the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing Barbican, we can see that there's nothing in the way of bad weather taking place as we speak. Time is now 19:10, so 7:10 p.m. You can see people in their vehicles going about their business. Not much in the way of bad weather. Definitely going to be fair tonight across Barbican. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, or where they should be as the night progresses. 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Monday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18th on Monday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Monday, and we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some yellows and some slight orange colors. They represent up to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. I know the normal temperature for the month of February across Jamaica is around 80.4 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius, that's about 30.1 degrees Celsius. So it should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 32 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Monday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online's Twitter page. And we know we definitely have to highlight these because we know that when we have power outages, it can definitely be even worse because of the heat, due to the fact that we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So we definitely have to highlight these. So if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Monday, February 3. We're referring to Commodore in Portland from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Also First Brissett in Hanover from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And finally Darling Street and Coke Street in Westmoreland from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Either way, if tomorrow is a bit too hot for you, we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, when outside, seek shade, dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others including children, elderly people with medical conditions and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated. Drink lots of water throughout the day even if you're not thirsty. Put away those sugary drinks, drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we can see a lot of dry air extending all the way from Africa across the main development region into the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. And we can clearly see that the driest areas right here off the coast of Africa with these dark reds and whites within those reds for sure. We know that the dry air definitely makes the atmosphere stable in general, making it harder for it to rain. But usually we get some isolated areas where we have these blues or these yellows. You know, the yellows represent the low end of the scale in terms of dry air. So we'll definitely take as much of the moist air as they possibly can during this dry season for sure. And we're indeed grateful that for Monday, February 3 at 2 p.m., the Saharan dust is going to be all the way out here across the main development region. Some of it might be into portions of the Eastern Caribbean and Northeastern South America. And we're glad that Jamaica for the most part should be in the clear. So too North America, the Bahamas, Central America, and portions of Northern South America definitely in the clear. We're also glad that we're not seeing that vigorous plume that we know is represented by the dark shades of browns. You know, the dark shades of browns mean that we're going to be getting in on some very hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons. So we're grateful that the Saharan dust is not really doing that much these days, or for 2 p.m. on Monday for that matter. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, not much change. The lowest waves in the Gulf of Mexico, these light shades of blues, into the northwestern Caribbean with the dark shades of blues. It represents anywhere from 0.5 for meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave heights. But the purples into the pinks and the burgundies represent anywhere from 2 all the way up to maybe all the way to 3-4 meter wave height. Should be plaguing the waters of the central, southwestern, as well as the eastern Caribbean. I mean, look at the waters to the north of Jamaica, 1.9 meter wave height. Waters to the south of Jamaica, 2 meter wave heights. The eastern Caribbean in general, lots of 2 meter wave heights as well, and that's because of the winds that are expected. Clearly, we see more of an easterly flow pushing through the Caribbean, turning southward, more of a west-southwesterly to southwesterly flow into portion of Central America. We see right here to the north of Jamaica through the windward passage between Cuba and Haiti. Definitely some strong winds, 20 to 25 knots at most. And if we take a closer look at Jamaica regarding these winds, we can see what's expected, more of a northeasterly kind of flow for sure. And if we take a look at the actual numbers, should be up to 20 knots here on the north coast. On the south coast, up to 14 knots. We'll see exactly what unfolds either way. Whatever comes off of the sea from the northeast, maybe some relief rainfall, definitely could be expected for sections of the northeastern portion of the island, St. Anne, St. Mary, especially Portland for sure. And then we also see that we're going to be having the least amount of winds on the south coast. And we know what usually takes place. We have that air piling up, those clouds building, and then we have some daytime heating, bring about some isolated shores. And the upper level winds are coming in, as we saw, from the west, just like what we saw in the infrared, with all of these high cirrus clouds being steered off towards that direction. So if we do in fact get on some thunderstorm clouds during the afternoon on the south coast, those cloud tops would have been pushed off towards the east, towards the direction that the upper level wind shear is pushing towards. So if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 6 a.m. on Monday, and we can clearly see that rainfall, that section of northeastern Jamaica, is going to be receiving at that time. The blues represent that isolated shore activity that should be plaguing portions of St. Anne, St. Mary, especially Portland right here, maybe even section of eastern St. Thomas for sure, and that should continue as the sun comes up. Then during the afternoon, now we're skipping all the way to 4 p.m. 4 p.m. is showing that we could still be getting some rainfall across sections of the northeast, as well as sections of some central and western parishes. Very interesting. It's eastern, central, and western parishes on the Euro. It's more so northeastern, central, and western parishes on the GFS. We'll see exactly what unfolds. I'll definitely keep you posted with what occurs on our other social media platforms. We also see the accumulated precipitation forecast maps in consensus that the most rainfall should be plaguing northeastern parishes. All depth is 0.3 of an inch of rainfall expected across Portland according to the Euro. GFS showing all depth is 0.32 of an inch of rainfall across Portland. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, we'll take all the rainfall that we can get. We're in the month of February, and in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive up to 20, maybe 19 millimeters of rainfall for the month of February. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive up to 74 millimeters of rainfall. That's about 2.9 inches of rainfall. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the entire year or for the month of February, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the calculations yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some clouds pushing in from the east, bringing some overcast skies, if not some isolated shores, to section of the Leeward and Windward Islands, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola getting in some of the action. Some of these clouds pushing into portions of Honduras, Nicaragua, as well as section of Belize. We also see some thunderstorms associated with the intertropical convergence zone pushing into French Guiana, Suriname, and Guyana as well. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what's happening over there. Let's see, is it gonna reload for me? Either way, while it's reloading, let's see what's happening on the Barbados radar. We do see some isolated shores passing through Barbados as we speak, pushing from east to west with those greens, some blues, light to moderate rainfall. We also see some rainfall to the east of Dominica, some rainfall passing through Martinique as we speak, with more to come from the east. Look at the north coast to the north of Barbados, lots of rainfall pushing in. We also see some rainfall right here to the south of Martinique, affecting sections of St. Lucia. We also see some rainfall right here coming into portion of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Grenada got in on some of the isolated shores, but more to come as we can see here to the east of Grenada. We can see some rainfall right here to the east of Tobago coming in. Section of Trinidad definitely getting on some of the action too, and we can see that even better on the weather wave Doppler radar images. Some of that rainfall coming into not only Trinidad but Venezuela. Some rainfall right here passing to the north of the ABC Islands. We can also see that rainfall across sections of the waters to the east of Belize, coming into Belize, sections of northern Guatemala, and sections of the Yucatan as well. And if we go back to the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what's happening right now. Not seeing much happening across Martinique or St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, or Antigua and Barbuda. Just some isolated shores to the east of Antigua and Barbuda. Some rainfall in and around Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands. And if we load these images from earlier today, we can see that sections of eastern, central, and western Puerto Rico were definitely getting on some of the rainfall today. And regarding where most of the rainfall is expected tomorrow, both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall over the next 24 hours from now up until 10 p.m. on Monday should be plaguing sections of Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, section of western Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, section of eastern Nicaragua, eastern Honduras, section of Belize, the Yucatan, northeastern Jamaica, eastern Hispaniola, so Dominican Republic, portion of eastern Puerto Rico, anywhere from Guadeloupe, southern Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago. Definitely going to be getting on the most in the way of rainfall for sure. And we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.